put simply, a Sats card
Mm.
is a card that when you tap it to a phone using NFC, you can deposit funds onto that card. And when you give it to someone, that's basically a Bitcoin transaction that is no KYC because you're giving someone physically Bitcoin on the card. So in order for them to unseal or take that Bitcoin out, they have to tap it to their phone and unlock it using a wallet. But basically, it's just a way to transact Bitcoin in a physical way. It's like me having a
Mm.
USB stick,
Mm.
and I put Bitcoin on that USB stick, and then I give it to someone. Right now, that person has Bitcoin, and when they put it in their computer, they can unlock the Bitcoin, uh, but without having to transact on chain, without them having to give me an address and all of this stuff. It's like a physical way of interacting with Bitcoin. Other than it's just a really cool thing. A lot of parents use it because it's kind of like a piggy bank. So, if you think about a piggy bank, when you put coins into a piggy bank, the only way that you can take those coins out is by breaking the piggy bank. And once that piggy bank is broken, you can't use it anymore. So a Sats card works the same way. You have multiple accounts on one Sats card, and you can deposit as much Bitcoin as you want. But as soon as someone breaks one of the uh, seals to one of the piggy banks of that card, then you can't use it anymore because it's not secure anymore. I Let's say I want to buy a car, um, and I'm saving up for this car, and I know it's going to cost me $10,000. So I keep depositing it onto that card, and then I go into the dealership and I say, "Here's Bitcoin." And without me having to ask the person on the other side, what's your address? Can I send you Bitcoin? All of this stuff. I just give them the card and they now have the Bitcoin and I take my car. It's transacting Bitcoin, but in a physical way. There are other cards out there. So something like this, for example, this is what's called a Tianki card. And it's a company in El Salvador. So that's Tianki right there.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
Read it, Tianki.
Mhm.
Um, So I have, and this is all Lightning. So basically, on here, I can deposit Bitcoin onto this address, Lightning. I can check my balance with this QR code, but I can use this card and tap it to my phone to pay an invoice. Card, and I tap it to the back of his phone, and then he gets his Bitcoin on Lightning. Cards is that you have to ensure that the person that's telling you what they owe you is putting in the right amount. Because
Exactly.
if you have $100 on here and the person, instead of charging you $5, they charge you 50, there's no pin on this, there's no nothing. As soon as they tap it, it gets paid. Whatever they charged you gets paid. So I would have to make sure that you're charging me the right thing. Okay, $5, I'm going to tap my card. Just like we go to a restaurant and we see the bank machine, the POS, before we insert or tap our card, right? We see the dollar amount that they're charging us before we authorize the payment.
So
This is a debit card in the Bitcoin future,
work.
in the where we can go around and I've gone to El Salvador multiple times, and I use this card all the time because I don't want to keep pulling out my phone all the time. If I can tap this card in a lot of places, then I'll use this card over my phone. It's much easier. In the back of a Sats card, um, what you'll see is like a website that you can go to see all of the addresses that belong to that specific card. So just like a Bitcoin address that you just put into Sparrow, you can use those addresses to deposit Bitcoin onto the card.
Mm.
Yeah, but it has, I think, 10 addresses, 10 different Bitcoin addresses. So each of those addresses can be used unlimited times to deposit into, but only one time to take funds out. So you can
Oh,
only
okay.
use that card 10 times essentially. So let's say you use one address for 1 year, and then you break it at the end of the year and you withdraw from that address. Well, then you want to use it your second year, and you go to the second address and you deposit money into that until you want to break it. The access to the same information. So if you used only one address, then they still have 9 addresses that they can use with that card. So it uses an app called Nunchuck to set up the wallet. Um, yeah, and it's free to for anyone to use. Say I have a Sats card
Mm,
that has Bitcoin on it.
mm,
What I'll do is I'll take my Nunchuck app, and I'll tap it to my phone, and it'll say, "Do you want to sweep the funds or move the funds to another wallet?" And I will say yes, and then I'll put my address that I want the funds to be moved into to the wallet.